2 million people live in Las Vegas. 2 million locals who know every corner of this city, who eat here 365 days a year, who've watched their favorite spots close and get replaced by overpriced garbage designed to separate tourists from their money. Ask any of them where to eat on the Strip. They'll laugh first. Then they'll look at you with genuine pity, because the restaurants tourists line up for, the places with the fancy signs and the hour-long waits, locals won't touch them. Not because they're snobs, not because they're trying to gatekeep some secret, because they've eaten there once. They've seen the bill, they've tasted the food, and they've made a vow to never go back. They know what you're actually paying for, and it isn't the food. Today, I'm showing you the restaurants that make locals furious. The tourist traps charging $60 for a steak worth $15. The celebrity chef spots where the celebrity hasn't set foot in years. The upscale chains pretending to be something special while serving the same frozen garbage as their airport location. This isn't about being cheap. Locals aren't cheap. They'll spend money on a great meal. This is about not getting scammed. These are the places draining your vacation budget while delivering cafeteria quality food with a designer price tag. If you're new here, I expose what's really happening behind the neon. Not the sponsored content, not the influencer posts. The truth that the tourism board prays you never hear. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications. Your wallet is about to thank you. Let's start with the restaurants that make locals physically angry. The ones where the line wraps around the corner. Where tourists stand for 90 minutes in the desert heat, convinced that the wait means it must be incredible. Here's what that line actually means. Everyone in it is about to get robbed. There's a formula. Every tourist trap on the Strip follows it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Step 1. Prime location. Right on Las Vegas Boulevard. Impossible to miss. Foot traffic in the tens of thousands every single day. Step 2. Massive signage. Bright lights. A logo you can see from 3 blocks away. Looking expensive. Looking important. Looking like somewhere you should eat. Step 3. The line. That line is the most important part, because when you see 100 people waiting, your brain does something stupid. It assumes those people know something you don't. They don't. Those people are tourists, just like you. They saw the sign, they saw the line, they made the same assumption. It's a feedback loop of ignorance. The line creates the line. Nobody in that line knows if the food is good. They're all just following each other. And the restaurant loves that line. Because the longer you wait, the more committed you become. 90 minutes in, you're not walking away. You're going to eat there now, no matter what. You've invested too much time to admit you might have made a mistake. That's not demand, that's psychological capture. And here's what's waiting for you inside. A menu with prices that don't match reality. $28 for a burger that would cost $11 anywhere else. $45 for pasta that came out of a box. $18 for a cocktail that's 90% ice. The food arrives, and it's fine. Just fine. Nothing special, nothing memorable, nothing that justifies the price or the wait. But you're not going to complain, because you're only here for 3 days. Because you don't want to ruin the vacation, because admitting you got scammed feels worse than pretending it was worth it. They're counting on that. This is the tourist trap economy. You're not a customer, you're a captive audience. They know you're only in Vegas for 72 hours. They know you'll never come back to complain. They know you have no idea what the food should actually cost because you don't live here. So why would they try? Why would they serve quality when mediocrity sells just as well? Why would they charge fair prices when you'll pay whatever's on the menu? Why would they care about your experience when you're getting on a plane tomorrow and 1,000 new marks are landing every hour? The Strip doesn't reward good restaurants. The Strip rewards good locations. But the generic tourist traps are just the appetizer. The greasy spoons with the big signs and the long lines. At least they're honest about what they are. At least you can see the trap coming if you pay attention. The real betrayal comes from the restaurants you trust. The ones with famous names on the door. The celebrity chef spots that built their reputation on quality, on craft, on actually giving a damn about what lands on your plate. Those names used to mean something. Now they mean nothing, except a bigger bill. And I'm about to show you exactly why that signature dish you've been dreaming about was probably made by someone who's never met the chef and never will. You see the name on the marquee. Giant letters, lit up in gold. A chef you've watched on television for years. Someone who built a reputation on screaming at people until the food got better. You think, Finally, a safe choice, a guaranteed win. A celebrity chef wouldn't put their name on garbage, right? This is the assumption that costs tourists hundreds of dollars every single night in Las Vegas. You're standing outside a restaurant with a famous name. You've seen this chef flip pans on TV. You've watched them demand perfection, tear apart a risotto that wasn't creamy enough, send back a steak that was 30 seconds overcooked. You're paying for that standard, that obsession, that guarantee of quality. Except you're not. You're paying for a licensing deal. Let me explain how celebrity chef restaurants actually work. Because once you understand the business model, you'll never look at that famous name the same way. The chef creates the concept, they design the menu, they pick the decor, they show up for opening week wearing the white jacket, shaking hands, taking photos with the casino executives. The press writes glowing reviews. The influencers post their sponsored content. The restaurant launches to massive fanfare. And then the chef leaves. Forever. What remains is a contract. A licensing deal that pays the chef a flat fee every single month, whether the food is good or not, whether the service is perfect or terrible, whether anyone in that kitchen has ever met the person whose name is on their paycheck. That Gordon Ramsay burger you're about to order? Gordon Ramsay has never flipped it, never tasted it, probably couldn't find the restaurant without a casino map. You're not paying for his cooking, you're paying for his signature on a contract. Walk into any celebrity chef restaurant on the Strip on a random Tuesday night. Look at the kitchen, look at the cooks, look at the expediter calling out orders. None of them are famous, none of them have TV shows, most of them are making $15 an hour and dreaming about a day off. The chef isn't there, the chef hasn't been there in months, maybe years. The chef is in Los Angeles, or London, or filming another TV show where they pretend to care about food quality. What you're eating was prepared by a line cook who learned the recipe from a laminated card, who's never had a conversation with the celebrity, who wouldn't recognize them if they walked through the door. The name on the building is a ghost. But here's where it gets truly insulting. These restaurants don't just coast on the name. That would be lazy but forgivable. They actively cut corners. They degrade the product. They serve you a shadow of what the restaurant was supposed to be. And they charge you more for the privilege. Kitchen turnover at celebrity chef restaurants is brutal. The talented cooks, the ones who actually cared about the food they leave, they get poached by real restaurants. They open their own places. They burn out from working in a kitchen where nobody at the top is watching. What's left? Whoever shows up, whoever stays, whoever can follow the laminated instructions without asking questions. The standards slip week by week, month by month. Nobody notices because nobody's checking. And the ingredients? That signature dish that made the chef famous. The one you've been dreaming about since you booked this trip. It's been simplified. The recipe has been adjusted for scale, which is corporate speak for made cheaper. The truffle oil isn't truffle, it's synthetic flavoring that costs pennies per gallon. The Wagyu is Wagyu style, which means it's not Wagyu, it's regular beef with better marketing. The fresh pasta came out of a vacuum-sealed bag this morning. Made in a facility somewhere, shipped frozen, thawed in a microwave. But the price? The price stays the same. Actually, the price goes up every year because the name still draws crowds. You're paying 2025 prices for 2018 quality. And the chef? The chef cashed out years ago. They got their check, they moved on. They're opening another restaurant in another city where they'll show up for 1 week, take photos, and disappear again. You're not a customer to them. You're a revenue stream they don't have to think about. At least celebrity chef restaurants pretend to be special. They have the fancy decor, the moody lighting, the waiters in black aprons who act like they're doing you a favor by taking your order. The next category doesn't even bother pretending. They're chain restaurants, the exact same ones in your hometown mall. The same menu, the same frozen ingredients, the same microwaves. Except here they cost triple. Because someone put Las Vegas on the window and decided that geography is worth a $30 upcharge. And tourists keep paying it every single day. Let me paint you a picture. You saved for 6 months, booked the flights, took time off work, flew across the country to experience Las Vegas. And now you're standing in line at a restaurant that also exists in the food court of a mall in suburban Ohio. Except this one costs 3 times as much. Because it's on the Strip. There's an unwritten rule on Las Vegas Boulevard. The locals call it the Strip tax. Take any chain restaurant, any casual dining spot, Any place with a logo you recognize from highway billboards back home. Now add $15 to every entree, add $10 to every appetizer, add $8 to every drink, add a service charge that isn't a tip, add a venue fee that means absolutely nothing. The food is identical, cooked the same way, from the same suppliers, following the same corporate recipes, microwaved in the same microwaves, but you're paying resort prices for mall food. The Cheesecake Factory at your local shopping center? Annoying wait, reasonable prices, massive portions. Fine. The Cheesecake Factory on the Strip? Same menu, same frozen cheesecake shipped from a factory in California. Except that pasta dish that costs $19 at home now costs $34. Plus tip, plus service charge, plus the tax on your dignity. Yard House near your office? Decent beer selection. Overpriced, but whatever. Yard House in Vegas. The same beer, the same food, $20 more expensive for no reason except the address. You flew 2,000 miles to eat at a restaurant you could walk to from your apartment and pay triple for the privilege. That's not tourism, that's a hostage situation with breadsticks. But here's what really makes locals angry. It's not just that tourists are getting ripped off, it's what these chains are doing to the city. Every chain restaurant that opens on the Strip takes a lease. That lease used to belong to someone else, an independent restaurant, a local chef with a vision, a family that had been serving food in Vegas for decades. But landlords don't care about vision. Landlords care about guaranteed rent. National chains have corporate backing. They can pay more upfront. They can sign 10-year leases. They can absorb losses for years while building brand awareness. Independent restaurants can't compete with that math, so they get pushed out, replaced, erased. Vegas used to have a culinary identity. Steakhouses with history. Italian joints run by the same family for 3 generations. Diners where the waitress knew your order before you sat down. Bars where the bartender had been pouring drinks since before you were born. Character, personality, soul, gone. Replaced by the same 12 chains repeating every 3 blocks. Applebee's, TGI Fridays, Margaritaville, Bubba Gump, the same menus, the same decor, the same experience you can get in any airport in America. You used to come to Vegas for something you couldn't get anywhere else. Now you come to Vegas and get exactly what you can get everywhere else. Just more expensive, and with longer lines. The chains haven't just invaded Las Vegas, they've colonized it, replaced its identity with corporate sameness, turned the most unique city in America into a food court with slot machines. And they get away with it because you're trapped. You're staying on the Strip, you're tired from walking, it's 110 degrees outside. The idea of getting in an Uber and going somewhere real feels impossible. So you settle, you see a name you recognize, you know what you're getting. It won't be great, but it won't be a disaster. And they charge you $48 for a burger because they know you won't leave. That's the business model. Not quality, not value, captivity. They're not competing for your loyalty, they're exploiting your exhaustion. Tourist traps exploiting ignorance. Celebrity chefs selling their names. Chain restaurants exploiting captivity. 3 categories of restaurants draining your wallet and making locals furious. 3 ways the Strip has turned dining into extraction. But here's what the casinos really don't want you to know. Where the locals actually eat. Where the food is better and the prices are half. Where 2 million people go when they want a real meal instead of a corporate transaction. And why those places will never ever be on the Strip. So where do 2 million locals go when they want a real meal? Not the Strip, almost never the Strip. They get in their cars. They drive 10 minutes in any direction, and they find food that's better, cheaper, and made by people who actually give a damn whether you come back. Chinatown, 15 minutes west of the Strip, Spring Mountain Road, a 3-mile stretch that most tourists never see. Some of the best Asian food in America, and I'm not exaggerating. Sichuan restaurants where the mapo tofu will rearrange your soul. Thai spots run by families who've been perfecting the same recipes for generations. Vietnamese pho shops where the broth has been simmering since before you woke up. Korean BBQ where you grill your own meat at the table for half what you'd pay on the Strip. Ramen, dim sum, hot pot, hand-pulled noodles made in front of you. Prices? A full meal for $15, maybe $20 if you go crazy. Quality? World class. Michelin level cooking without the Michelin attitude. And it's not just Chinatown. Henderson has steakhouses that would embarrass the overpriced beef palaces on the Strip. North Las Vegas has taco shops that'll make you forget Taco Bell ever existed. The local casino restaurants, the ones tourists never see, serve better food at half the price because they need you to come back. The secret isn't secret, it's just 15 minutes away. But here's why it matters. These restaurants survive on repeat customers. The guy who comes in every Tuesday, the family that celebrates every birthday there, the regulars who notice when the quality slips. These places can't afford to serve garbage. Their customers have options. If the food gets worse, if the prices get stupid, the locals walk. They go somewhere else. There's always somewhere else. That pressure creates quality. That accountability creates value. The Strip doesn't have that pressure. On the Strip, you're there once. You're gone tomorrow. You're never coming back to complain. You have no idea what the food should cost because you don't live here. So why would they try? Why would they charge fair prices? Why would they care if you leave disappointed? 1,000 new tourists land every hour. The supply of suckers is infinite. That's not a restaurant. That's an extraction machine. And this is what really makes locals furious. It's not just about bad restaurants. It's about what those restaurants represent. Las Vegas used to compete on experience, on making you feel like you got more than you paid for, on treating tourists like guests instead of targets. The restaurants reflected that. Lost leaders, cheap prime rib specials, buffets that actually meant something. The food was part of the show. That Vegas is dying. The new Vegas competes on captivity. Trap tourists on the Strip where there's no competition, where every option is overpriced, where walking somewhere else feels impossible because you're tired and it's hot and you just want to eat. The restaurants aren't failing at their job. They're doing exactly what they're designed to do. Extract maximum dollars. Deliver minimum value. Count on the fact that you'll never be back to complain. Locals see this happening. Locals remember what it used to be. That's why they're furious. Not because tourists are eating bad food, because the city they love is being hollowed out, one overpriced burger at a time. So what do? You get off the Strip. It's that simple. 15 minutes in any direction. An Uber that costs $12. A short drive that saves you hundreds. Ask a local, not the concierge. They get kickbacks, not the guy handing out club flyers. An actual person who lives here. Ask them where they eat. Watch their face light up. Follow their recommendation. You'll spend less, you'll eat better, and you'll actually experience Las Vegas instead of the theme park version designed to empty your wallet. Hit subscribe for more truth behind the neon. I'm just getting started. Drop a comment. What's the worst tourist trap restaurant you've fallen for? What meal still makes you angry? What's the biggest ripoff you've experienced in Vegas? Share this with anyone planning a trip. Save them from making the same mistakes. Because the only way these restaurants change is if tourists stop falling for the trap. If the lines get shorter, if the extraction machines start losing money. Until then, the locals will keep driving past the Strip, keep shaking their heads at the lines, keep eating better food for half the price. Now you know where to find them. I'll see you in the next one.